guys, it's Michaela here, and you can call me Kay. This is Kayology, my channel all about astrology, spirituality, and motivation. Of course, when it comes to teaching astrology, you would like to start with the rising sign. If you don't know what a rising sign is in astrology, you probably don't know what a birth chart is either. Your birth chart in astrology, you can go to Google, type in birth chart calculator. It will take you to a series of different websites like Astrology Cafe, Just Astrology Things, Astro.com if you're feeling a little wacky, because astro.com, I think it's a little hard to digest if you don't know exactly what you're doing. So astro.com, I think, is more so for the professionals. But I personally like Astrology Cafe. It will ask you for your date, time, and location of birth. The time of your birth is what your rising sign is dependent off of. So if you don't know exactly what time you're born, call your mama, okay? Call your mama, look at your birth certificate. Hopefully your birth certificate or your mother can give you the time in which you were born. I realize that some countries don't put the exact time in which you were born, and I feel like that is such a disjustice. Like, how dare you? I think injustice is the proper word. Nonetheless, let's get into what it means to have a Scorpio rising. So if you look at your birth chart and you see that you have a Scorpio rising and you have no idea what that means, hi. You're in the right place, okay? Or if you have a Scorpio rising friend, family member, partner, this could also be really good information for you. So if you see me looking down, I'm looking down at my computer because this is where I have all of my notes. I don't want to bull issue and I don't want to ramble too much. I'm an Aquarius rising, so sometimes I can ramble, especially if I get downloads while I'm speaking. But I want them to be good downloads, full of information, not just rambling because I didn't write down what I was trying to say, okay? So, Scorpio as a sign is ruled by Pluto and Mars. So Mars represents Aries as well as Scorpio, and Scorpio is the feminine version of the Mars sign, right? And I think it's so interesting because Pluto is one of the last planets and Aries is one of the first signs. So it's just kind of like, I think Scorpio is like the beginning and the end, if you will. Okay. Keywords when you think about Scorpio is magnetism, darkness, hidden, mysteriousness, occult, ambulance. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but whatever. Alluring, and the phoenix. One of the symbols for Scorpio is the scorpion. So, scorpions, if they get you with their little tail, they can really send you to the hospital and you'll be like done for if it's the wrong scorpion, right? But if you crack that shell open, they're very easy to kill because it's just nothing but soft inner parts on the inside. All they have is their shell to protect them as well as their stinger. So I think that's very metaphoric to what a Scorpio rising is. The rising, or the first house in astrology, is yourself, your person, okay? And Scorpio is more comfortable being hidden in the 8th house. It is your subconscious. So when you have Scorpio energy in your first house, it's like bringing the dark to the light. And that's something that Flight Boss said on YouTube too, so shout out to him. It's the dark in the light. So this energy, you're carrying it within your person, within your body, okay? These people can have amazing eyes that are quite alluring and almost cat-like. Their eyes can be dark, even if it is another color like green or blue or whatever. They can have really dark eyes that kind of draw you in. That's why I said alluring at the beginning here. Of course, my computer would lock up. Love that for me. Nonetheless, they also have like narrow noses that come to a little point, very sensual lips with a cupid's bow. Is very Scorpio rising, right? They can also have sharp features. So, ooh, and a really well arched brow, okay? There ain't no arch like the Scorpio rising arch of the brow, you feel me? Okay? Who does your brows? Let me know, because my brows be a little crazy. You can't see. I keep them together, but they be a little crazy. Anyways, So I want to talk about their aura. So the aura that a Scorpio carries is, it can be dark, but also very intense, because within themselves, within their inner world, there is this intensity, there is this dramatic nature, that over time they've learned to very much conceal and make almost completely non-detectable. Only thing that's left behind is this intensity, this feeling that even when you see them, look at them, encounter them, they walk past you, you feel that intensity. It's really, it's the thing that makes them long lasting in people's mind. If you meet a Scorpio rising for the first time, you won't forget it. You won't forget it. Their eyes lock you in. Their aura draws you in, and you might be a little, unsettled, because Scorpio risings have this energy that is both alluring, but it can be misunderstood, okay? You can struggle, or Scorpio risings can struggle with people being jealous of them, people assuming that they are a certain way because they don't tell everything. They don't put all of their cards on the table as to what their intentions are, So because of that, they can give off this vibe of like, what are you doing? What are you thinking? Why are you looking like that? What are you staring off into the distance for? They also like to observe the room before they speak to anybody, before they, especially if they haven't been there before. If they walk into an event, they're the type of person that's gonna, be more to themselves, watch, observe. But just them looking around, people could think like, what they doing? Why don't they speak to everybody? Why don't they, put themselves out there? What's going on? What are you hiding? And people can assume bad things about you, even though there's no reason to do so. You didn't do anything, right? Which, that's definitely a part of your aura. Now, their movements. Call me too detailed, but I want to talk about this too. I have had Scorpio rising friends. I have Scorpio rising family members. I also have, this really close friend that I had. He was a Scorpio rising. Their energy is very sexual, and it can be taken in the wrong way. They can be caught flirting by accident. They're really just talking. Like they're just talking. Like it's not even like I'm trying to flirt with you. I'm trying to, lure you into my sexual aura. No, it's not even what that is. Like sometimes like their movements, the way they walk, the way they pick up something, it can be seen as like sexual, but it's not, they're just naturally very sensual people. If you do not know, Scorpio rules the sexual organs. So there is a sexual aspect to Scorpio that you can't really ignore, but I'm not the type of person to talk about, oh, they're so sexy, oh, they're hoes, they're this. No, okay? First of all, don't ever slut shame. And two, that's not always the case. They desire intimacy. So not every single Scorpio is going to be willing to just throw their sexual energy everywhere as far as like different partners and things like that. They really try to wait for someone that they think is worthy of a sexual experience, right? And of course, other placements in the chart can increase this or decrease this, so your sun sign, your Mercury, and also like where planets are placed, aspects to those planets, this can decrease some of these aspects or increase them, okay? But I hope that this is resonating so far. So yes, just in general, how they talk to people, they can be charming, they can be sensual, they can be sexy and natural flirts, but they're not always going to be super interested in small talk. Scorpio energy in general, like a Scorpio Mercury and Scorpio rising, they do not like small talk, just talking to people just because they don't like to overshare because of their life and the things that they go through in their lives. And they learn that not oversharing is very imperative if they want to have a successful life. Oversharing, telling people too much about themselves doesn't always prove to be the best way to go. they feel like if you want to know more about me, you have to earn it. I have to observe you and see if you're even worthy of knowing things about me. Also, if you can't help me, then why the heck would I tell you anything? And also, Scorpios don't really like to receive help. They like to do things on their own. So it's just kind of like, I rather stumble around in the dark figuring out what the heck I'm supposed to do than come to you, tell you my problems, and risk the fact that my business will be out there, someone else will know, or just in general, that you don't even know how to help me. So I'm sharing all of my deep emotions and all of my intellectual thinkings with you, and you don't even know, you can't even get down with the get down. Why the heck would I tell you, you know? Which I completely understand. Like, as an Aquarius rising, I completely understand. So it's important to state that with the Scorpio rising energy, the higher vibration of it is someone who goes through these dark experiences, transformation. When I say transformation, because it can be very vague, especially when we're talking about Plutarian energy, when we're talking about Scorpio risings. When I talk about transformation, I mean conflicts, abusive situations, the beginning and ending of friendships. All of these things can happen in a split second for them, and they don't see these things coming, especially as children. You know, they could have gone through verbal abuse, Gemini in the 8th. They could have gone through trigger warning, sexual abuse, because this, like I said, Scorpio rules over the sexual organs. So this could have been a part of their lives. They could have been exposed to sex very early in life. And just in general, I feel like Scorpio risings, they didn't have a childhood. They didn't have, you know, the warm, cool childhood where they didn't have to worry about anything. This is not Scorpio rising's lifestyle. Right? So they can be the person on the high vibration that learns all of these lessons, go through these relational issues, abuse, endings, random new beginnings, and they can go through these things and become a master of transformation, a counselor, encourager to other people who might be going through these same things. Or on a lower vibration, they can become manipulative, bitter, mean, closed off to people and relationships. It can go to a very dark place for them. So it's very important for Scorpio to have outlets as well as creative endeavors, something that they can, you know, Pisces in the 5th, they can use to transmute that energy, however that is. You know, maybe it's working out, maybe it's pottery, making pots, something like that. Just something where they can really transmute the energy. And even getting a counselor is really, really important for Scorpio risings, because they've gone through experiences that they don't feel comfortable telling just anybody. So going to a professional who's literally trained to listen to your problems is a good way to go. So let's talk about the 4th house in the Scorpio risings chart. That's going to be in Aquarius, especially if it's whole sign houses. It's supposed to be in Aquarius, right? So growing up and their relationship with their mother, they could have felt alienated from their family, alienated from the people that they lived with. This could talk about someone who was adopted or felt like they were adopted, you know, just really didn't emotionally connect with their mother, either because the mother was emotionally unavailable or always gone, always working. This forced them to spend a lot of time by themselves, really get to know themselves as an individual, okay, because Aquarius is the sign of the individual. So they can be very individualistic, very self-concerned, because they've always had to be, you know. Could see their siblings as just roommates. They might not emotionally connect to family or the idea of what family is supposed to be. It's not warm, it's not loving to them. They could feel, because Aquarius is also community, they could feel like their friends are more family to them, more emotionally connected to them than the people they're actually related to, right? Anything else about that fourth house? Yeah, because it's also gleaming from this Cancer in the ninth. So Cancer in the ninth can talk about distance from the mother, because the ninth house is long distance travel, and Cancer is the sign of the mother. So they're just feeling emotionally distant from their mother, and it could have also been a physical distance. So I'm going to breeze over this fifth house in Pisces. So the fifth house is creativity, children, fun, and games, and it's in Pisces. I have to mention this because it's worth mentioning, and I will say for all of the Scorpio risings that I've known, this has been a theme in their life. The way that they like to have fun, Pisces can have to do with dissociating. So they might like to engage in activities that help them to dissociate from the intensity of their lives or the intensity of their emotions. So finding a way to get the emotions to quiet down can have to do with drugs or obsessive partying, smoking, like the weed, okay? You like to dissociate to have fun. And in the highest vibration, this could be someone who really loves meditation, yoga, retreats, spiritual retreats, something that helps you to disconnect from all of that Plutonian transformational energy and helps you to just get that relief. Okay, this could also be love affairs. So you can be attracted to Piscean type people, people who could be very artistic, spiritual, possibly potheads or dissociative people. On the highest vibration, that's just someone who's very spiritually evolved. So a spiritual connection when it comes to your love life is very important. Speaking of love life, let's go into the seventh house. The seventh house is in Taurus. Your seventh house in astrology is the opposite of your first house. So the opposite of Scorpio is Taurus. Scorpio being the hidden world, occult knowledge, seeing the unseen, or seeing the hidden things within people or within your society. The opposite of that is Taurus, the possessions, the house, the car, the stable job. So in their relationships, they're looking for that, especially in their love relationships. They're looking for someone who's got it all together. They're looking for someone who can bring their intensity down and ground it. They're looking for someone who's just got all their ducks in a row practically, okay? So they're not, despite this Pisces in the fifth, okay, there's their sexual affairs, they're not looking for someone who is not reliable, okay? And this is why that Pisces in the fifth, they might have a good one night stand with a Pisces vibe person, right? But they're looking for someone who's got it all together, okay? Someone they can depend on financially. As well as, it's not just your romantic relationships, it can also be your friends. So they want people who's just, they've got it, the family, the house, the cars, able to take vacations, things like that. People who have the financial well-standing. But they have to be careful with that, because when you're only looking for someone who's got all the practical stuff, you can lack the emotional connection. And that might be the thing that makes you feel like maybe they're hiding something, because Taurus can be very idealistic and very like to themselves when it comes to their thoughts. You might have to even like probe them, like poke at them to get them to tell you things. But that might really bother the Scorpio rising, because though Scorpio rising might feel like they're hiding something, their partners, that is, like they're hiding something from them, when in all actuality, no, it's just not that deep for them. They just don't think that hard about things. They don't care, you know? And since Scorpio does think so deeply about things and they are so intuitive, they do need that Piscean aspect. So my thought process is, highest vibration of like their romantic relationship is someone who can bring them that Pisces intensity, deep love, unconditional love, almost left that out, as well as the practical side of life. Mesh that together, they could have like the best partner ever. The best partner ever. Like a Pisces rising Taurus sign, or like a Taurus rising Pisces sun, or something like that. All right? So now let's get into the 9th house, because I want to get into the 10th house, but I don't want to get to the 10th house before you talk about the 9th house. And that's very important for Scorpio rising. Your 9th house is in Cancer. I had already mentioned that in the 4th house, right? But another part of this 9th house is really taking in your emotions and allowing yourself to really do the emotional work within yourself. Scorpio rising can almost intellectualize their emotions because of the Gemini in the 8th. They can intellectualize their emotions. They can just, look at the facts of how they feel and what's going on and just want to move on, right? And just focus all their energy into work and career. And then they think, okay, boom, 10th house, a Leo, everyone look at me, I'm so professional and I'm so amazing and I've got the reputation and I got the looks and the fashion and all that stuff. I'm just so amazing, right? You can't get there and have it be long lasting without acknowledging that Cancer 9th house. So 9th house is, I mentioned travel as well as higher learning and religion. So you can learn a lot from Cancer energy. That is the moon energy. That is the mother. That is feeling emotions. Okay? And sometimes Scorpio rising doesn't want to sit in their emotions. They don't want to really let that intense feeling of vulnerability take them over. And I think they can push away others emotionally, but sometimes that's just a reflection of what they're doing on the inside. You have to process your emotions, and processing your emotions allow you to be empathetic to others, allow you to see things from multiple different angles, and not everything is black and white, So that emotional release allows you to create the 10th house that you've always wanted. So in the 10th house, it's ruled by Leo, which is creativity, children, artistic expression, showing others how to artistically express themselves, as well as how to have fun. So in your career, you like to shine and you want to be center stage, and like if you're doing a career that you chose because of your 3rd house in Capricorn, where you just want to have money and you just want to have accomplishments, then when you get to your 10th house, you're not going to feel fulfilled. Because if you're just doing a career to make money, you're going to overall not be happy. You want to be appreciated in your career. You want to be admired in your career. And yes, Leo energy is artistic expression. So that's your singers, those are your dancers, your writers. Well, it can be your writers, actors, right? But let's go deeper, because I feel like that's very surface level. So Leo is over the sun. So wherever your sun sign in your chart is located, that can also be an indicator of what you should do for a career. But your career has to have, you have to be passionate about it. It has to be something where you can also create things. For example, let's say you're a Gemini sun, right? And you're a teacher. Okay, sun in Gemini. Gemini is the teacher energy, and you create a program at your school that lasts way after you no longer work there. You are allowing that Leo 10th house to create, as well as using your care and understanding of what your school needs to give something that will transform Scorpio, transform that school in a positive way, right? Let's say you're a Libra sun, okay? So I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm sitting on the floor and my foot fell asleep. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. Okay, all right. It should come back to life soon. Anyways, let's say you're a Libra sun, okay, and you got Leo in the 10th. Then if you want to be a lawyer, cool, be a lawyer, but allow yourself to even do cases for children or at family court or something like that, because Leo does have a good little bit to do with children. It's like doing things that come out of a creative passion, letting you use that Leo energy and where you can truly be appreciated for what you do. Okay, so you don't have to be a superstar, you don't have to do what I'm doing in front of a camera or anything, but there's a possibility for that, you know? So it always has to do with your personal chart, but I'm just giving you the possibilities of what this could look like. So let's talk about the lower vibration of what this house could look like. This Leo is ego. It is pride. So being too prideful here, doing things just for money, doing this just for power and for people to see you as accomplished and having it all together, even putting other people down to raise your reputation, will in return make it not long lasting. Okay, you might gain the upper hand at first, but understand Pluto, who is trying to teach you to transform and evolve over time, is going to come back for you, and then it won't be long lasting. It won't be a proper footing for you to have success in that house, right? Just make sure that you're not being too prideful about what you do as a career, as well as don't put other people down just to raise yourself up. So another thing about this house is not just about career, it's also about just your overall reputation in your community. So when they go out, like, they like to look, okay, they like to look good, the outfit, the hair, the clothes, you know, the makeup, all that stuff. They are truly good at fashion, and like I said, they can transform their look whenever they want to. So when they go out, whether that's out to a club, to the parties, you know, to an event, they want to look show-stopping, which is so strange because Scorpio as an energy does not actually like attention. So when you get to this Leo 10th house, it might be uncomfortable for them to have a lot of attention on them, which is why sometimes they don't reach their highest height and could even self-sabotage, because there is a subconscious fear of being seen, you know? So anywho, when they go out, they like to be looking and stunting and you know, really fashioning it up. That's not a word. Fashioning. But they are very fashionable people. Okay, so in conclusion to this house, don't be afraid to be seen. Okay, and just the last thing that I want to mention is the 12th house in Libra. So though you guys act like you're so strong and that you can do everything by yourself and that you don't need people, one of your deepest subconscious desires is actually to have relational intimacy and to feel received, no matter how dramatic you're being or no matter how deep your emotions are, that people understand you. Or not even people, but like if it's just one person that truly understands you, then that's enough for Scorpio rising. You know, I think they desire that true intimacy, way past sex, way past their looks or what they can do for people, but just a person really accepting them for who they are. So it's not going to be an easy thing to work on because the 12th house is the things that we disown. It is our deepest subconscious. So this is something that, if you believe in past lives or reincarnation, this is something that can come from a past life. Like, this is very deep-rooted trauma. So learning to trust is going to be a lifelong thing, and there will be a lot of lessons around trusting others and betrayal and people doing you wrong. But don't ever lose that true desire to actually be close, to have real friends, to have a truly loving and deeply understanding partner. It is possible, It is for you, and no matter what point you're in your journey, don't give up hope. Okay? A few things that can happen if you are ignoring this part of yourself is overindulging. You can overbuy, overshop, overeat, because Libra is anything that makes you feel luxurious, if you will. It's also like that feminine receiving energy. So, you know, going and getting spa treatments or cosmetic treatments, just obsessively doting on yourself with the money that you're making. Okay, what's the point of having all of this success and things if you have no one to share it with? So, you know, over drinking of wine, because wine is one of those like luxurious drinks. It's not just like tequila, okay? It can be, depending on, of course, other signs in the chart. But like having a really bad day at work and feeling lonely, and then you just go to Kroger and you just, well, I don't know if you have a Kroger where you are, Kroger, Walmart, and you just buy up all the cheap wine there and just like guzzle it down because you just feel so lonely. If you find yourself doing things like that, it's a sign that it is time to do some shadow work centered around relationships. If that's healing from maybe some abuse from family members, from your parents, from friendships, things that have made you feel alone, being betrayed. That if you're overindulging, that is a sign that it's time to pay attention to that. And Gemini, eighth house it out, you know, intellectualize it, see where it's coming from, where that started, where the overindulgence started. So I hope that was very helpful. I had a lot of fun doing research on this topic, and to all the Scorpio risings out there, I love, 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 love you. I hope my crazy nail situation was not distracting, but I love you guys, and you're so freaking strong. Don't forget that people are in your corner and that not everybody has ulterior motives. Okay? So, do great. You're great. Talk to you guys later.